Hello everyone, very good morning, good afternoon and good evening to all of you. This is your host Vaibhav. In today's session of JForex Indicators Explained, we will be looking at a interesting pattern which is used as a bearish reversal pattern. The name is identical three crows. It is you can say a derivative of the three crows pattern. And in this session, I will make you familiar with the concept, the uses, the possible editing options provided on the platform, so you can take advantage of this identical three crows pattern for the bearish reversal opportunity. So let us now head to the JForex 4, the newly released trading platform from the Dukascopy Bank SA. Here, as the name suggests, we can see that when this pattern formed, here I have already added these identical three crows, and if you want to know where this can be found, just go to the add indicator option. Amongst the add indicator option, you will have to go to pattern recognition, and here you will have it below homing pigeon, which we saw in the yesterday's session. Now coming to the bearish reversal using this pattern. Here this pattern happens in uptrend. If you look at this pattern recognition formed this time, we had this up move on the 5-minute time frame. After that, this bearish reversal pattern formed, and these are three identical candles with long body. The closing value needs to be lower than the opening price for all these three candles, and this candle body should be long enough. Now how long enough? For that, you will always have to consider the average price move, which has been the norm for that instrument for recent time. So you will have to consider the range defining tools like ATR or something similar, identical tools. So you get the range, and then you look at the volatility of these candles. You have to make sure that the difference between the closing price and opening price is good enough, and the closing value is lower than the opening price, which are having similar range for these three candles. So that's how this name is derived, three identical three crows. And this is a bearish reversal pattern. The earlier trend should have been up. After that, when we see that for three consecutive candles, the selling pressure is pushing the prices lower, and that price lower is also not really showing any signs of getting back higher, as on three consecutive occasions we see that the price pressure was sustained and closing price was lower than the opening price. So we get these identical three crows, and then you can utilize the entry point for the fourth candle. You can see how the price is evolving in the fourth candle, and utilizing these prior candle first candle's high point as the possible stop loss with a sufficient buffer can be used as the entry point. If we look at further examples, you can have much more clarity. In this case also, we have these three bearish candles with this development happening after this uptrend. We can be fairly confident of the getting entry right, while keeping the buffer just little above this immediate swing high would have served the purpose. So in this case also, we saw this decline for the NZD USD. So this is an interesting pattern. This is a pattern which will give you a good idea of the possible trend reversal. And if we look at this instance here also, after this prior up move, these three consecutive candles are having the bearishness with the closing value being on the lower side. But in this case, we didn't really see any profit. If we had gone in for the stop loss somewhere around here, the first crow's high point, it would have ended up in loss. So in this case, there would have not been a profit. So identical three crows. You will have to also think about the profit optimization, the trade optimization techniques like minimizing the loss and maximizing the profit, because not all the times this formation is going to work. Let us also look at other instruments. In this case, we saw the identical three cross formation on the 5 minute time frame just a while back. And if we had taken the trade using this high point of the first candle as the possible stop loss, it would have been a profitable trade so far. It is still in profits, but though we don't really know how it will end as it has not really moved from the opening price much. We also have to look at the risk reward ratio, what kind of risk we have to take, and what kind of risk uh, the risk taken can generate the reward. So we also have to think about the risk reward and optimize the entry point accordingly, because as I said, not all the instances of this pattern are going to end up in profit. So in this case, if the stop loss were somewhere around here with entry provided here, it would have given us decent amount of profit, but eventually this reversal happened, pushing the prices higher. So if your target price was too far away, it would have ended up in loss, not in profit. So that is something which we have to keep in mind. Again, we are getting these three identical cross formation with the stop loss coming in above this candle's high, and in this case also it would have ended up in a profit if the target price was sufficiently close enough. So you will have to look at this volatility accordingly. The difference of the opening and the closing price can be defined how much is good enough, and then prior moves, what kind of uptrend it was, and the move therein, and what are the possible reversal formations, and the expected movement. So using all that, you will always have to optimize the trade to make sure that the risk is minimized while trying to maximize the profit which might be generated if we get the formation right. So that's how this identical three cross formation can be used on the platform to figure out the opportunities to go with the flow, or you can also look for the reversal. So whenever there is a prior uptrend and then the price reversal happens, there is a formation which can help you in figuring out the opportunity for the entry point. Now let us see what we can do in terms of the editing. The input output color combination can be defined the way you like. You can go for different color combinations. So if it is too looking too prominent, you can lower the transparency, so it will look like this. Coming to the advanced editing option, recalculate on new candle only. In this case, if you opt in for this formation will take shape once the new candle is formed. The subsequent candle after the confirmation is in place. Highlight the time period zone. Three candles are used for this formation, so these three candles are getting highlighted. Calculate from custom data. This data customization is disabled as we can't really customize the calculation. It is based on the candle formation, three identical candles, that's all it takes into consideration. Show indicator on all the periods. If you want this formation to be available on all the candle periods, you can do that as well. Else, if you simply specify only on the 5 minute, then if I go to the hourly or any other candle period, I won't be seeing this pattern recognition plotted on the chart. But if I again turn back to 5 minute, I will have this pattern recognition in place. And if I go for show indicator on all the periods, whenever I change the candle period, this formation will show up whenever it forms. So here it is, three identical crows, identical three crows. Let's try out 4 hourly time frame. On this time frame also it will show up. Maybe it hasn't really formed. in recent hours. Okay, so that's how this formation works. It can be, we can get the entry point right after the trend reversal, and then all we have to do is try to optimize our entry and exit to make sure that we stand to gain more than the risk we are taking. So that is the whole purpose of this session, to make you aware of the advantages as well as the disadvantages, the pros and the cons of the formation, its concept, its uses, and also the customization techniques. And on the platform, one new feature was added recently. There is a hot list. So whenever you see a particular stock buzzing, it will show up here. Now all the stocks which have gained or lost are showing up. If I change it to last hour, the active stocks for last hour will show up. You can go for daily for you. So thank you all for joining in. This is all for today's session of JForex indicators, where we looked at the uses of these identical three cross formation. In the next session on Monday, I'll be back with a new pattern to talk about its uses, the concept, and the possible optimization techniques. So thank you all for joining in. Have a fabulous day and the weekend ahead. See you on the Monday. Goodbye.